This is the BLACKDOT V200, a 70 Singapore dollar smartwatch from a local Singaporean startup. So the question is, should you buy it? Should you check it out? Let's start with the design, and I do like the design of the V200 quite a bit. It's simple and clean, and you can't go wrong with a simple round face. Nothing wrong with it, and I personally think it looks, well, nice. The band is a simple black rubber band, and it seems like it's kind of like a standard watch band mounting, so you can actually swap this out for many different types of watch bands, and you can actually get replacement watch bands from BLACKDOT with different colors if you want to spice things up a little. I could do with something a bit cooler. But I understand this smartwatch is also for a lot of like more active lifestyle kind of users, so having a metal or leather strap might not make sense for those people, unlike say the Fossil smartwatch. But I digress. I think the design's fine. It's a simple round smartwatch with reasonably thin bezels, and there's nothing to complain about here at all. There is a button on the side, and the button is used to turn it on and basically control a bunch of different things. And the button does rotate, but it basically does not control anything with the rotation. It seems like the rotary knob is just there for you to fidget with rather than for you to control things in the setting with. It's no Apple Watch Smart Crown, that's for sure. Build quality of this watch is pretty nice as well. The materials isn't super premium, like the black rubber band does feel a bit toy-like, a bit cheap, and the plastic casing does not inspire too much confidence. But after having used this for 2 to 3 weeks, it has not broken. There's no scratches on the glass for me, so there's nothing to complain about. And an advantage of the materials being not that fancy, not like metal or aluminum, does make this watch really light, which makes it a lot more comfortable to wear if you're, say, going on a jog, which is an advantage, although it might not be the most intended advantage of them all. But it is lightweight and pretty comfortable to wear. You can wear it for long hours, you can wear it for the whole day, no problem. And I definitely think for those people who are the psychopaths who like, wear smartwatches to sleep, you can actually wear it to sleep, to track your sleep if you so desire. Although I don't understand why people go to sleep wearing a watch. I think it's just weird. The display on this is pretty nice as well. It's just a simple black round LCD. The viewing angles are respectable. I mean, you're not going to be watching an HDR movie on this, obviously, but that's not what it's for. The resolution isn't particularly high, however, and the brightness does let me down a little bit in extremely bright sunlight, but it's nothing like that you cupping your hands won't help you out with. But it definitely is a respectable, very usable display. It's also a pretty responsive display, pretty snappy. Not the snappiest, not 144Hz, 280Hz, There is no super smoothness to it, but it works and it doesn't feel laggy anyway, so that is good enough in my book. Moving on, the battery life of this device is pretty good. It charges via this cable that it comes with. Of course, it comes with a charging cable, and well, the battery life is respectable. It lasted me about a good 4 to 5 days between charges of pretty intense use, although your usage might vary depending on how often you check it, how often you use it, how often you basically tinker with it in your app. For me, it was not that often that I was connecting it to my phone and tinkering it with the app and customizing it, and I wasn't checking it incessantly. But if you're someone who checks your watch incessantly, maybe the battery life will be a bit worse. So your mileage might vary, but it's definitely respectable, and I think for any kind of user, no matter how much of a power user you are, it will have no problem lasting at least a day or two, no problems before you need a charge. So that's good. Another thing that I do like about this watch is the app. The app is very easy to use and actually very respectable, and the app is where you do most of your customization, although you can do things like watch face customization in the watch itself with a couple of preset, preloaded watch faces. However, if you want to do most of your settings, most of your customization, you want to be doing it in the app. And in the app is also where you get to see all the stats that you recorded with your smartwatch that's collecting your data. So you can track your sleep numbers, your heart rate numbers, your step tracking. All that will be transmitted and synced up with the app once you connect your watch to your phone. So this app is called the WorldFit app. I don't know why it's called the WorldFit, but it works pretty well. The UI is very clean, it's very neat, it's very simple, it looks good, and I think in general it's just a very effective app that gets the job done very, very well. Now, in terms of other features that this watch has, well, built into it that you can access without using the app, you have step tracker, obviously, which is your standard kind of feature. You have a heartbeat sensor built into it, which is nice. And you have a sleep tracker, obviously. You have a stopwatch, you have clocks, alarm clocks, and you have like workout recordings. You can even record your workouts with like different presets, although it's not a feature I see many people using. And another thing you can do with this watch is obviously you can control your music, Spotify and things like that through the watch, so long as it's connected to your phone, which is very convenient for you to make sure that you don't check your phone mid-workout or maybe mid-study session. You just control your music through your watch so you don't check your phone and get distracted, which is honestly a nice thing. It also has a power saving mode if you want to conserve the battery of this particular watch, which limits all the functionality and kind of defeats the purpose of having a smartwatch. But if you say are traveling overseas and you want to conserve your battery life as much as possible, it makes sense to turn on power saving mode because you probably won't be needing those other features anyway. So that's pretty interesting. So in conclusion then, should you buy the BLACKDOT V200? Well, that leads me to the things that I don't like about this watch before I can properly round it off. Number one, the heartbeat sensor seems to be a little bit off. I wore my watch slightly higher the other time and it was reading my heart rate at an extremely low rate of 35, which obviously is a erroneous reading because if my heartbeat was 35, I would probably not be alive at that point. So the heartbeat sensor is a little bit off. However, so long as you wear your watch a little bit lower below your wrist bone, you will have no problem in getting a consistent heartbeat reading. So that's nice to see. I think another thing that this watch needs is definitely it needs more strap options. You need to, as I've said just now, maybe a leather option or a cloth or even a metal option would be very, very nice to add a bit more options and a bit more spice to what I can choose to come with my BLACKDOT V200. Another thing that I don't like about this watch is that the rotary knob, well, it doesn't do much. It just kind of rotates and doesn't control anything as far as I can tell. And I think that just is a bit frustrating because it kind of leads you to this illusion that it can do something, but it doesn't. So that's pretty much what I don't like about this watch. And I guess with that, it's time to conclude. Should you get the BLACKDOT V200? In my opinion, the negatives of this watch are really quite minimal, and unless it's an absolute deal breaker for you in terms of design and size and whatnot, I think it's definitely a watch that you might want to check out or at least keep on your watch list. Is it as good as the Huawei fancy watches or the fancy Garmin or Fitbits of the world? Absolutely not. It could not hold a candle to their battery life, their performance, the snappiness, the responsiveness, and the feature set of the higher end $200, $300 watches. But it's also not trying to be those watches. It's just trying to be a simple, sensible smartwatch for people who want a cheap option that gets the job done pretty well. And when it comes down to the fundamentals and the basics of what a smartwatch needs to do, which is tell the time, tell my heartbeat, tell my footsteps, tell my workout, maybe have a timer or a clock on there, and also allow me to control music and check app notifications, which this also supports. That's all I needed to do. It's got a nice app, it's packaged well, and it's really cheap. Because it gets all the fundamentals right, I have nothing to complain when I talk about the BLACKDOT V200, and it's definitely something that you might want to check out. Follow for Instagram for like BTS and join my Discord for like discussions and stuff. We talk a lot about cool stuff over there as well. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching once again. Bye bye, adios, 再见.